This is WWE 2K25. We're here on Xbox Series S. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So we're diving into this year's wrestling entry, the next release within the now very long-running wrestling simulation series, one that got a bit of a reboot a number of years back and has been growing ever stronger since, which is rather exciting if you are a fan of the brand. So for the Series S, it's about the usual business that you would expect. You have the pretty good looking visuals, you have the full suite of settings, and it's something that actually is fairly nice to enjoy on the, Series S side of things. So we're going to dive into the features, the technical stuff, what's new, what's improved, everything like that, as we do all the time when it comes to WWE. And of course, we've got a custom Royal Rumble going on, and then some clips here or there showing off some of the different modes, so you get an idea of what the experience is like across the board. Cool. The biggest thing here, at least for me, is the intergender matchups. So this is something that literally was not available before. It's fresh in this release. It's exciting. It is something that I have been desiring for quite a while at this point. It was something where for many years when I was doing my streams and my cool custom character mashups, great videos on the channel, by the way, check them out, it was something that was desired, was to see the the matchups, because it's a video game, and it's not real. You might as well have some fun with it, and it really didn't make sense why the two couldn't be put together. That being said, you can totally split the two up if you want. You can really do whatever you want in this because, well, it's WWE. Go wild, do whatever you'd like to. So we're going to dive into the modes now that are present within this experience, starting with what's new and then going over all of the other supporting modes that are available within this year's release. So Chain Wrestling returns, Bloodline Rules matches returns, Underground matches return. So Underground are kind of similar to the Brawl mode. Barricade Diving. There's also this thing called the Island, which is basically I guess you would say WWE's version of kind of like NBA has this world hub that you go and visit. We'll talk about that more in a sec, but that's the general idea. This is WWE's equivalent of that sort of a thing. So the other modes, as far as quick matches, you got your traditional match setups, you've got tag team, there's Extreme Rules, special guest referee, Brawl, which I mentioned, where you kind of go out and do the back, kind of behind the scenes kind of battles and stuff, similar again to Underground, where you do some quirky things. There's the Battle in a Cell, the Royal Rumble, the Battle Royale, the Steel Cage, the Elimination Chamber, throwing in tables, ladders, or a combination of that, Gauntlet with variations, War Games, Casket, the Ambulance, the Iron Man, Last Man Standing, and some other stuff alongside the options needed for a tournament. So as far as the technical details go, on Series S here, it's 1440p at 60 FPS, local co-op up to 4, online up to 8, and yeah, all runs pretty well. Looks really, really good for a Series S. Coming off of the Series X version of the game, I don't think you'll really notice much of a difference. There is a difference, but it's not as much of a difference as you may notice in other video games. It's mostly just the clarity and the fidelity, and I think also a little bit of the detail of the crowd in the distance. But for the most part, you get a decently good running game as far as resolution goes for Series S, more than fine. And you get that frame rate, which is appreciated. And it's a little, tanks a bit in the island. Cool. So the island is this place where you create a superstar, which is like a custom character, male, female, whatever you want. And you go out and it's like this hub where you kind of like build up points. That's microtransactions, but like, you know, there's clothing you can get, there's skill points you can earn, there's quests, there's challenges, there's things to explore, and like it has a variety of WWE themed districts. It's kind of cool aesthetically, like it's actually got like a vibe going on. It's not necessarily my sort of a thing, I suppose, but I could see how, you know, people that like NBA, you know, you want an equivalent for WWE. It might be interesting. I have no idea how people are going to respond to it. I don't know if it's necessarily something I spend my time in, but, you know, it is a cool offering that is available. Okay, so the core fun mode, or the core kind of unique thing for this year, is the Bloodlines Dynasty. So this is hosted by the wise man, Paul Heyman, and it celebrates family dynasties within the WWE. Create feuds, what-if scenarios, and sort of celebrate the families and the historical lines that have grown over the decades within WWE, which is pretty cool. If you're into that, the legacy, you know, building up these little battle things, creating some new feuds, or just kind of engaging with the content in that sort of a way, I think is kind of neat and interesting. So, kind of a fun little setup there. The game features over 300 playable characters across all generations of WWE action and intensity. There's also the custom character suite, or well, the creation suite as they call it. It's become more robust. You can adjust everything from custom characters to entrances to arenas to all kinds of little fun things. And then you get beautiful setups like what we have here today. And the visuals in general, aside from it being, you know, a lower resolution here on the Series S, the character models, everything like that, do seem to be quite improved. This year, they do actually seem to be a bump up. Like, just the quality we're getting for a lot of these, like, custom characters is also really good. And it's just very well presented, very aesthetically pleasing, and I think it captures the visual styling of, well, wrestling in that pretty effectively. My GM Online, a multiplayer setup, 4 players, what? Well, you can have 4 players. Players draft, there's roster management across weeks, just a little bit expanded upon for that mode. Like always, you know, what kind of self-respecting sports game of the modern era doesn't have a card system? My faction. The card-based mode, it's got 50 new stages, and faction wars have new nodes. World Tour replaces proving grounds for a non-linear approach. So basically, there's more of a randomness going on in regards to how you go about doing your card-based mode, where you collect and build like a deck of, you know, stars and everything like that. Obviously, that's a favorite of people's, and it's something that's in every sports game that's out there. My Rise, so you're able to guide your own superstar from the men's or women's divisions in what is a singular multi-gender storyline. It's a neat concept this time around. Basically, you're making your own character and you're making your way up through the WWE. What's interesting here is that the storyline follows some key superstars as they infiltrate NXT and attempt to take over WWE. So they have a bit of fun with it, they have a bit of style with it. It's a neat idea. Honestly, it's not a bad way to go about it, and kind of, I dare say, fun at times, exploring that sort of a concept and, you know, doing something story-wise. Basically, it's just a really well-rounded out game. Like, there's lots of different modes, lots of ways to play. They got a little bit of everything. Universe mode. So the sandbox provides more upgrades and greater control over the universe. So they just kind of bumped that up a bit. Other new things, third-person camera angle. Obviously, there'll be post-launch DLC because these sports games are no longer just a release. They are the type of experience that goes year-round. So you're getting updates, you're getting, you know, seasonal stuff. Especially with the greater world hub that they've created here, that's something that is certainly going to be built upon and expand, and I'm assuming it's going to be a multi-year thing. They must have been working on it for a while, because it does seem pretty, like, expansive for what it is. But yeah, that's kind of the core gameplay modes and things and ways to interact with the game. As per usual, your WWE experience, the ring, lots of different stages and arenas for different times and different events that have happened. You've got all kinds of live interactions, quick play matches to play, online multiplayer to have, solo, custom characters to download, and that system works a lot better this year. It's genuinely improved in the best of ways. Like, it runs and connects. It's a much better setup there. Seriously, like, it makes all the difference in the world how they've gone to improve that here. I actually very much like how much smoother it is for me to get my cool custom characters and, you know, people to share them and everything like that. Very well done. As far as core gameplay, it seems like the mechanics are about the same as last year. They do kind of adjust things year on year, you know, as far as like stamina balancing, how you kind of hit or hold buttons. It seems all relatively the same. Headbutts are really in this year through the rope, but it always misses. Like, I think I've seen one connect, so that seems to be where the AI is driven. Stamina does actually seem to be pretty well balanced, which is nice. I remember that being an issue maybe in previous years, but yeah, I don't really have complaints about the game. I'm sure more intensive people about WWE will probably bring certain things up, but they've done some nice quality of life improvements. This year, to me, largely seems to be based around the concept and the idea of expanding the modes and the options. You know, there's just a wild selection of different ways to play. Like, as I mentioned, everything from caskets to ambulance matches to behind-the-scenes face-offs and everything you could want, you know, just in terms of really mixing up how you interact with the game. A lot of really nice quality of life improvements. And here on the Series S, it's, you know, it's a fine, good way to play this game. Like, it gets the job done. It's got some cool action, it's got some intensity, it's got some surprises, it looks good, runs well. I'm not really sure what more you would really want out of this sort of a game. It just has everything. The modes, the options, the ways to compete, the ways to play, and it's provided in a comprehensive package. It also seems like they're basically getting all of the modes back that were perhaps lost or were removed over time in that big reboot a number of years ago, but yeah, I'm sure they'll continue to add a couple modes here or there in order to, you know, collect all of the missing options that were present, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with what we got here. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. I suggest grabbing some custom characters and enjoy some non-commentary gameplay going over the action.
competitor